Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another session of CustomerGauge Live. We have a special edition this week. I'm joined by our fearless leader, the co-founder and the CEO of CustomerGauge, Mr. Adam Dorrell. How are you doing today, Adam?
Hey, Ian, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I just got back from a holiday. I talked to Camilla last week shortly, but I'm kind of catching up on the news. I'm going through the routine, getting back in the routine with the kids, and I saw an interesting thing pop up in the news the other day that one of our, I would say, main, experienced colleagues in the space, Qualtrics, made a big acquisition. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, you're diving straight in, aren't you? You're not even
Sure am.
warming me
Let's
up
go.
or asking the weather is. Yeah. Hey, thanks. First of all, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was a great one you did with Camilla last week. That was really, really good fun to do. Hey, so yes, the big news this week was that Qualtrics, who is the sort of the 800-pound gorilla in the CX space, just bulked up again and spent nearly $7 billion buying the formidable Press Gainey company, who also recently, well, it's relatively recently, some time ago, bought Forster, which before that had bought In Moments. So this is pretty big news, actually.
Yes.
And this was announced this week. So first of all, it's a lot of money, and it bulks them up. And it's kind of interesting for the business.
Yeah,
it really is.
So we have a couple really great healthcare clients, and Press Gainey's very much like a vertical SaaS play in the healthcare space, right? I think you mentioned you saw them on The Pit recently.
Yeah, they were. It was on episode 1 or 2 of The Pit, by the way. Great series.
Yeah.
Deserves to win all the awards. Like in the first or second episode, the hospital administrator comes down and talks to this very harried, surgeon. She's got to keep our patient scores up. The Press Gainey score's going down because he's saving somebody's life. Jeez. I want to say something interesting about that. Yeah. This is really interesting because I speak as a former Brit living in Europe. It's like it's kind of difficult to see how obsessed the US world is over these healthcare scores, actually. But it's absolutely essentially the HCAHPS survey, which as far as I know is still done on paper. So like really old tech. I don't think it's going to change the digital stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably why this acquisition makes a lot of sense. But it's hard to see how the acquisition of this huge healthcare thing actually makes much sense outside the US. You could maybe the national health system in the UK, but outside the rest of the world, I think it's a big collective shrug, is they're just not in the same healthcare systems. I might be wrong. I've been prepared to take letters on that, but
sure.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I think you're right. There is definitely it's a very much a signal to the market that, hey, we're investing in a vertical healthcare solution that is only relevant in the US market, which definitely I think will cause some, I don't want to say concern, but like some anxiousness about like the direction of definitely their presence in Europe, but also potentially.
Yeah, I don't think I'm worried about it. But the point is, it seems to be relevant to the US at the moment. And by the way, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, they're buying a company that's doing sort of like benchmarking in that space.
Yeah.
You could probably, if I had to speculate, do you mind if I speculate? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
I probably, JD Power might be another logical buy for somebody else. Medallia might pick those up or something like that. That would be the sort of thing that would make sense. And I think it's quite good to have these benchmarks. Although what happens is it just takes it over. And I think, well, I'll come on to a little bit about it. But one of the things I do see is that the CX market is being dominated by these guys as a player, and that might cause concern for customers. And let me tell you why, Ian, if it's okay. First of all, if you're a customer of Qualtrics, Confirm It or In Moment, you're going to be confused over what's going to happen. There's going to be blood over which platform dominates. I mean, we already saw that a bit. If you're a former Clarabridge customer, or when that merger went through, that was in 2021. I think that was not handled well by Qualtrics, and. I just want to be. The Qualtrics are many things. They're a great juggernaut. The software's pretty good, but in terms of customer service, maybe not so good. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for some customers to deal with. And then confusion, because what happens, Ian, in a big tech come together of this stuff. Everyone's jockeying for position, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
I mean,
the people
unavoidable, right? I mean, if you're that big and you
Yeah,
acquire
yeah,
this many companies, it's unavoidable. It's not even like a
yeah,
Qualtrics thing. It's just a
yeah.
sheer
So
the size of the companies. It's going to be tough.
yeah, and so if you're a customer getting heard above that din, you know,
Yeah.
product direction, roadmap is going to be all over the place. Finding somebody who can help you is going to be problematic. But, you know, in a way, that I think that's a great opportunity for companies like CustomerGauge to come forward. But you know, if I can also speculate, what I think is going to happen is that there's probably in a couple of years there's going to be another sale. So this thing's being wrapped up
Yeah.
to sell. My guess is probably Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's a lot of execs on Microsoft in Qualtrics.
Yeah.
Maybe Salesforce, Adobe. You know, it'd probably be someone like that. I don't see it being Oracle, but you never know. But it's going to be the next thing. So so you're going to go if you're going to stick with this platform now, you've got that another migration to come in a couple of years. So
Yeah.
I would keep your renewal track short if I were a Qualtrics customer.
Well, I'll give you credit. I think a couple of years ago, you had a comment on one of the presentations that data is the new battleground, or data is the new competitive
Yeah.
field. And I think that part of the acquisition of this company is getting to the benchmark data and getting that vertical knowledge and keeping it for themselves. I think that's a lot of what the value is there for them, is being able to offer their clients something that nobody else has, which is decades of data. So props to you for kind of seeing that early. And we've invested heavily in benchmarking over the years. So I think that's definitely the right play overall for us and them.
Yeah, I agree. But it is interesting because, you know, it was just a few months ago, and I went back and looked over it. Press Gainey was saying, no, we are the alternative to Qualtrics. And we've got this really strong CXM platform with 4-star and InMoment. You can just see that's, you know, that was just gone by the wayside. And I think what it does mean for anybody else out there, for clients, and let's put them out, you know, everybody that's a user, there's less choice around.
Yeah.
There are fewer choices around there, and generally when that happens, you get less. The prices go up, service levels go down because there's no incentive to do it. So I'm gonna we can end this section by sort of saying, I know they talk about CXM, but I think it's more like customer experience monopoly right now, or as as my US friends call it, antitrust.
Well, and all of that stuff impacts loyalty. But speaking of loyalty, you had an interesting thing come up this week where you ran into a 15-year customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was no surprise. We've had this customer for 15 years. But what I loved, thank you for switching to this.
Of course.
Brilliant. This customer is in the insurance space. They've been with CustomerGauge for 15 years, quietly using it. And to be honest, they've never made a lot of noise about stuff. They've been really happy customers. But, you know, in rolling out the Gaige AI to this was a bit of a delight, actually, because a few things happened. And actually, what I did is I created a page on the support site. Can I share that now? I was going to see if I can do that. And Ian, maybe you can put the link in there. But it's let me see if I can share this. It's this window I need to share. Can you see my screen?
Sure can.
Right. Okay. So this is on the CustomerGauge support site, and so if you search for this goldmine, what a 15-year program can give you through the AI lens of Gaige. So I put my prompts in here. So this one, right? It's go back to the start of the program in 2010. Look at the stats, the number of sent, NPS, response rate, this sort of stuff. Put the top drivers in for each year. Give me a summary of the program period and suggest a few next steps. I didn't know what was going to happen, but first of all, this is amazing. I mean, Gaige was able to get the whole 15 years back within like 20 seconds and summarize this. And I love this. Look, I mean, this is the story that came back. I'll show you the screen prints in a second, but you can see some of the things here. So I had to blank some of it out, by the way, but it shows you the driver evolution insights. Look at this. It actually said, these are the eras that you're in. All right.
That's amazing.
You're into eras. We'll talk about that in a minute, right? The expansion phase and the optimization era. So I didn't tell it this. It just like figured this out from the data. I was absolutely amazed. Tells you what the trajectory is, that 48-point improvement and so on, engagement, closed loop abandonment. There was something and then here, recommended next steps.
Yep.
Down here, I thought this was really interesting. Can you see? I'm just highlighting this.
Yeah.
Create case studies from your purchase and transfer process. So that's a driver. And it identified that this particular driver, the contribution was like 92 NPS.
That's nuts.
So pick this out. And all right, so it says you should do this. So my next question was, okay, drill into the purchase and transfer process driver. Give me some good comments. Summarize how we can use in marketing. Ian, you're a marketing dude. You're going to love this. Okay. Look at this. So it goes, this is a marketing powerhouse, a marketing goldmine, right? Look, extremely easy to navigate and information providers at a high level. Simple, easy, no hustle. It was so easy for old people. That's the main thing. These are genuine comments from their system, right? Seamless transfer, expert guidance, comprehensive service. Can you see this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great. Now, so marketing strategy recommendations. Look at this. Lead with effortless switching. Switching minutes, not hours. The value prop, 94% of our customers rate our transfer processes effortless. I'd be super proud of this, okay? Here's another one, switching experience that actually works. Use these testimonials. So easy, even your parents will love it. Perfect, as they put it, for the 55 plus demographics. One call, multiple service. Customers don't just switch, they rave about it. I mean, look, they even points it out there. Going right on, it just goes, your 92 NPS is likely industry leading. Most companies struggle with this. You've solved it. This should be your primary differentiator. Here's your tagline: switching made simple, 95. I mean, it's great, don't you think?
It's a tagline too. Amazing. You know what I love about this is that it takes your experience data, but then it gives insights outside of that little bubble of customer experience.
Yeah.
Applies it to the broader business. That's amazing.
So so if anyone wants to have a look at this, it's on our support site. I think it's great. You should try these prompts out on your own if you're a CustomerGauge customer. And I put this out there. And then just for old time's sake, I actually put the classic dashboard in there.
Yeah.
This is the 15-year journey of this client. And you can see the steady but sure NPS evolution here. Isn't that great? That's really nice. These are responses down the bottom because they trimmed it. They're doing certain things on here, but that's what we're saying. You should go back. Anyway, I love that story, and that's just some nice evidence to do that.
That's amazing, and testament to CG for a 15-year customer. I mean, I don't remember the last time I've heard about a 15-year customer.
It's pretty good. I mean, in our business, the other thing is generating that graph at the bottom. That's 3 seconds to based on 4 million data points. I think that's pretty. That's a testament to what the tech team have built here. The AI takes a little bit longer to chunk through it, as you'd imagine, but still in 20 seconds you get that stuff.
It really is a brave new world at this point, and there's so much magic in the AI space, and we see it not only with 15-year customers, but some of our customers across the globe. You had a little story you wanted to chat about the AI surprise with.
Oh yeah.
What's going on with the AI surprise? What's the big surprise?
Okay, well, I might be referring to the wrong thing. Is this the Japan story? Can I say that? Because Camilla, my co-founder, she's in Japan at the moment.
Yes.
So she's really happy. Just came off, and I've got a couple of things. So she can't be with us now. She's actually catching a plane. This is the Alex. He's the boss of Coca-Cola, Japan. He's wearing a CustomerGauge hat. Right, I don't know if I can zoom in. Can you see this? This is Gaige with AI on it, Ian.
Fresh swag,
fresh swag. And I've got another picture of her. Let me see if I can find it. But she gave me a couple of bullet points. Can I just find one more picture here?
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's just like, because literally I just got these like an hour ago, and I thought it'd be quite fun to show this. Share this window. Is that working? Yeah, there you go. Look, isn't that cool? By the way, I love them. Talk about branding. It's really cool. This is Ono-san, who runs the program with Camilla, who's out there. So they're really happy now. But so Camilla starts talking about a couple of things on this. She says that first of all, she loves the way that this program is action focused. Quick summary: Coca-Cola Japan are really busy in getting feedback from their channel. That is the small corner shops, the bars, right up to the big stores, but also a vending machine channel, which they really care about. They've got a really good leadership investment in there. You saw that photo of Alex, who's there, and lots of opportunities to fix the issues. And as Camilla says, like, you know, she says there's a real can-do attitude in Japan. She's also super happy they've got a female prime minister now. So, you know, but here's the surprise. Let me also see if I might have one more thing I can show quickly, which is the surprise was, you know, one of the things that we know is really important, Ian, is getting the leadership bought in and driving a program. Number one thing to make work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm just going to share a little bit of what we asked Gaige to do here, which is to say, look, can you communicate to the staff? So here's, as a leader, write me a script that I can use in a podcast to communicate. I didn't know what it was going to do, but it wrote this fantastic script. I'm not going to go into detail on it, but it's really personal. You can literally pull bits of this out and say, look, I want you to remember something. We're going to face setbacks. The results are just a report card, so let's get to work. I mean, it's fantastic.
Right.
And you and I know, you know, we've done this work before when we're writing scripts for people. That's 2 hours work probably to craft it. And even then I'd be like, oh, did I get everything in?
Yeah.
The best thing about it is Gaige does that in seconds. It helps. So how I look at this is it helps a leader communicate a program like a superhuman.
Yeah.
It's like having the best writer's room in your back pocket. And you might tweak it a little bit, but it's really good to go. And the point about this is it means you can just push stuff out the whole time, you know, doing the things that you'd really want to do, but this is easy to do when you get them.
And to your point, the communication from leadership is the make or break moment, I think, for most programs, where if you have the leadership bought in, they have to bring it up often. So giving them the tools to be able to have those conversations across multiple different scenarios. I mean, you can literally just type into Gaige, like, hey, I have a quarterly meeting. Give me a quick update on what the numbers look like and give me a script of how I can address the numbers with the group. I mean, it literally is like your little consultant on the shoulder that will help you communicate internally, externally to the board. I mean, it's a game changer. And I don't say that lightly. It really has changed the way I think a lot of these customers are using their programs now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it brings these programs out of the cupboard, so to speak. I mean, already we already in CustomerGauge journey has been to not do surveying once a year. Right.
Yeah.
Feedback is not just for Christmas. It's not for Christmas, as I like to say. It's got to be done the whole time. So already we're trying to make that happen. But even that required interpretation of a dashboard. Right. This can give you content every week or every day or every time you're meeting with key people to say, hey, here's the key points that we need to go. That for me has been transformational. I didn't see that coming, and it's really good. Yeah,
and it's helping these customers develop their programs into excellence, the top mature programs. Part of that process, that evolution for these customers is on our end, we need to recognize that striving towards excellence. And part of what we do every year is this Account Experience Awards. We're doing it this year on October 30th. Adam, what are your thoughts on the awards this year? Tough competition.
Oh, well, really interesting. So first, it's in 3 weeks or something like that, 2 weeks. Really excited about this. I love doing it. We dress up. Camilla and I do this. It's a real celebration of what our customers are doing. Again, really in the spirit of what we do, Ian. It's customers telling their stories, sharing best practice. So we've got the usual numeric awards where we're looking at best in class in terms of performance, but we've got an innovation this year, which is where we ask customers to nominate themselves if there's a program that we're particularly proud of. So we've got more than a dozen entries, and the judging is happening next week. So I don't know who's going to win, but there's a panel of judges on this that Nigel Tordoff is leading them to figure out that, and I'm delighted. I think that's just a really great way of shining a light on some programs that are not the biggest, but have some real character. I love that. Yeah,
it's always one of my favorite events every year. I think this AX Awards and like the Monetize Awards, because the customers get up on stage and they chat about what's been driving them this year and what they're looking forward to tackling next year. It's always a great event. Don't miss it. October 30th. You can sign up on CustomerGauge.com. All right, last topic. Adam Dorrell, Taylor Swift. What do these two have in common? Let me just kick it off with. I saw a post you had on LinkedIn. I think it was maybe Monday or Tuesday.
No, it was yesterday. I did it last night.
It was yesterday. Talking about this term, terminal uniqueness. Did you know that's a T-Swift term, Adam, before you posted it?
No,
Yeah.
I wish I had. I mean, you know, no, actually, hold on. I know. Of course, I'm going to pretend. No, of course I did. Yeah, Ian, I'm connected with the zeitgeist.
Let it that out. No, you're good. Yeah. So Taylor Swift dropped a new album. She had this song that talks about terminal uniqueness, but you had a really great post on LinkedIn. Terminal uniqueness meshing out perfectly. So let's chat about
let me tell you about it. So I only heard about this yesterday. It was actually from Adam Clay, who's our CRO. He was talking about this. He goes, "Oh yeah, this." You know what Adam's like. This customer has got. I said he's got terminal uniqueness. I said, "What's that?" He goes, "Well, it's the ability for just to think that your needs are different to everybody else's."
Yeah.
That's how he talks, something like that, right?
Yeah, Liam Neeson and Taken, right? That's
right.
Exactly how they talk.
There you go. Yeah. I am the father. Anyway, yes. So, and I said, that's crazy because if I think about it, there's a lot of people in the CX world or clients or near clients that we had who were like, yeah, that's never going to work here. And so I wrote this post yesterday is that, our business is different, being the four most expensive words in CX. They're not that different. I'm sorry to say, I don't want to bust your bubble, but I don't know why there's this willingness to try and invent things that are new in CX. I mean, we see all these people who, can I say it on here? These NPS deniers. NPS won't work for us. And benchmarks won't work for us. Yeah, you guys can close the loop, but it won't work for us. And I say that's fine. You go your own way. You don't have to do it. But I'm telling you, the ones who really succeed are the ones that mop up as much best practice as possible, that actually really lean into our 20-year experience in this and our text and numbers and do it. They're the ones that are just shooting off and having really successful 15-year programs there, I say.
Yeah. I mean, it's not always the metric, it's the structure around it at your business. Yeah. And if you don't get that right, of course you can blame the metric, but it's at the end of the day, you just don't have the people and the processes in place to deliver it properly. But
but I did not notice from Taylor Swift, so I think maybe Adam Clay did. Maybe he's more in touch with that. Maybe he can comment on that.
Like you said, just own it. You're in the culture now. It's the talk of the week, one of the most streamed albums of all time.
Are you going to play us out with Taylor Swift, Ian?
I wish. Yeah, I should have done.
We'd have to pay royalties.
I was going to say, I don't know if we can afford the royalties. But hey, Adam, thank you for joining me today on this LinkedIn Live. I'm sure we'll do another one here soon, but it's been great chatting with you. And we'll see what happens with the Qualtrics-Press Gainey thing. I think that's interesting. It definitely has implications for the market, the CX market in general. But thanks for your insights on that today.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, guys.